My friend had sex on the sofa under covers while they watched a movie with the girl's father. What do you think would be the most inappropriate place to have sex? Hey there viewer, so glad you can join me for another story time. If we haven't met yet, I'm Andrew, your go-to Reddit narrator, and today's story is gonna be wild. So strap and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome stories. If you do, I'll make sure to send you some white claws. Let's get into the stories. There's a reason Notre Dame caught fire last year. In the sky tubes from Chuck E. Cheese. But the balls stay in the pit. That scene from the ending of Dr. Strangelove where he is writing the atom bomb. On the dropping atom bomb, I'd guess. On the Pope's coffin, during the funeral television broadcast. Depending on the type of sex, it could get even more sacrilegious. We've had parents have sex behind the curtain in their child's hospital room in the pediatric ICU where I work. About as inappropriate as it gets. I used to browse around on the Craigslist personals to find weird posts, and one time I found one of an old preacher with nudes that were clearly taken in a church on that green carpet churches always seem to have. So I'm gonna go with on the green carpet in a church. In the delivery room. Edit. Fun fact: some midwives encourage sex and masturbation because orgasm are both a natural pain reliever and they stimulate contractions. I believe that is only before the water breaks though. Then nothing can go in because of the risk of introducing bacteria. On the witness stand in the middle of court. Edit. Some of you have brought up a great piece of history known as the impotence trials, where a woman could divorce her husband if he wasn't able to get it up in front of people in court. I just want all of you to think what it would be like to be a court stenographer during such trial. When I was 15, I was dating a Jewish boy I met at summer camp. He took me to his synagogue and we snuck away from the others, went upstairs into a broom closet, and I let him finger duck me. So yeah, I got finger banged in a synagogue and we did it more than once. That seems like a real inappropriate place. Had a couple people at work have sex in their SUV in the aisle closest to the damn turnstiles on the way into work. My coworker went and banged on their window, then Central Security went out and dealt with the problem. The same couple proceeded to do the same thing at lunch, just further down the parking aisles in the same SUV. 2 jobs were hopefully lost yesterday. Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, used to do it on her mom's grave. Her father didn't approve of the relationship, so going to the cemetery was a cover-up for sexy time. At his request, my father-in-law was buried under his bed inside his own house with dirt floors, not in the US obviously. His son has since taken over the house and bedroom and has multiple children all fathered over, well, his father. Back then people used to treat cemeteries like regular public parks. So I guess maybe it wasn't as weird as we'd see it today. At a child's birthday party. It's also the perfect place in a way. Normal sex? Hide in the bathroom. You like public stuff? Duck M in front of the whole party. Masochist? Bam, hot candle wax from the cake. Mid-engagement snack? Why not bang on the cake? Hate the kid and into kinky crap? Bam? Cake farts? Desire to be sodomized? Let them call the police and you get to go to jail. Bam. Perfect place, albeit inappropriate. No one will see this, but my wife and I had sex under a Sonic the Hedgehog basketball game in an arcade once. Edit. Oh god, people saw this. Well, here's another tidbit. At one point someone dropped a basketball and it rolled underneath, and we were almost caught, but thankfully the person didn't notice when they picked up their ball. It was like pitch black dark under there. That was like 5 years ago now. Plane ride as boarding begins, in the hallway. Not only is it public sex in a commercially owned vehicle and breaking the mile high before the plane even takes off. It is humiliating for everyone involved and brings the awkwardness of people being unable to board. Bonus points if security people intervene, causing panic and releasing bomb detection security measures, and thus crippling the airport from takeoffs and landings, and rerouting the whole country's airlines, and delaying thousands of people in their businesses and private affairs. It is inappropriate on 3 levels. One I actually saw happen was a trashy couple ducking in a lake. Water was chest high, in plain view of a lakeside restaurant full of people. They were hiding it, but most of the patrons eventually noticed, and a few college guys cheered when they finished. It was an awkward family outing for me. Edit. It was in Spring-Fed Lake in Ocala, Florida. Edit. I'm not fixing my spelling mistakes, y'all shoulda read my username. As someone who has worked at both a theme park and an escape room, please know there are cameras in places you may not realize. I get it if you are an exhibitionist, but please make sure there is consent on the part of the people who have to watch. Edit. If you are shocked that people try to have sex in theme parks or escape rooms, you don't know your fellow humans well enough. If you are giving me stories of your exploits, good for you. If you are saying exhibitionists shouldn't get consent from the people who are forced to watch before they engage, then you have to come and clean it up afterwards instead. Edit 2. Don't kink shame. There is nothing wrong with exhibitionism, just don't be an asshole with it. A couple had been trying to get pregnant for some time. After a thorough exam, the doctor said, "We can't find anything wrong with either of you biologically speaking." However, I have known cases where simple stress got in the way of conception. Your bodies know what to do. It's really important for you to relax and make sure to make love when the mood strikes. Sure enough, the couple was back 6 weeks later, and the test was positive. It was just like you said, Doc. One night at dinner, I caught her eye and we just knew the time was right then. We did it right under the table. I told you your bodies knew best, replied the doctor. Of course, we can probably never go back to that restaurant again, the wife added. I'd say a children's movie just because it's probably the most feasible Earl. You can very easily get caught at a funeral or school, and while you can still get caught in a theater, the likelihood of being caught is less so compared to the others. Plus, I've had it happen. I was in HS with my girlfriend, and we went to see Monsters vs. Aliens because we were bored and the movie was cheap. The theater wasn't packed, but there was another couple closer to our age that sat in the back, and the dude spent a good chunk of the movie fingering his GF. Super ducked up to do that in a kid's movie. Thankfully the movie was kind of old at that point, and there were only a few families in the theater who all sat up front, so none of them hurt I don't think. I get why as a teenager you'd want a cheap thrill, and picking a movie that's been out long enough that most people won't be in it isn't a bad idea in and of itself, but don't pick a kid's movie. That's just wrong. It's not a hyperbole like the rest of this, but people need to stop ducking in restaurant kitchens. You don't duck in the kitchen. You duck in the stockroom. I used to work at a fast food joint. We had 4 girls working with us. The manager ducked all 4 in the cold room. We didn't have a stock room per se, and the cold room didn't have CCTV. He ducked the on a rotational basis. That was ducked up on so many levels. Edit. This is a chain fast food in Australia. These girls were new international students, and they had huge loans back home. They couldn't afford to lose hours even for 1 week. And this was and still is pretty common for this company stores and some others fast food chains. EDIT2. Few of you are asking which fast food brand was it. I will give you an obvious clue. It's adjacent to Hungry Jack's in Bondi Beach. And the names start with O. Not that particular store though. I was talking about Brighton Beach store. Elementary school hallway. Mrs. Crabapple and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies and the baby looked at me. Ralph Wiggum. I always thought it was just an indicator on how stupid Ralph actually is, being that he gives such a dramatically different and scandalous account of what he saw. Yes, a comment on the unreliability of children's testimony because they tend to embellish or simply record memories that aren't accurate. When I was in grade 6, my friend and I pulled aside a younger kid and told him we were aliens and that we were going to destroy this planet and he could come with us or stay and perish. He asked if his family could come. We said no. He cried and went to a teacher. The teacher approached us and said very nonchalantly, "Chris says you guys told him you are aliens and are going to blow up the earth and that you choked him until he couldn't see that. That didn't happen, did it?" And we reacted like, "What? No, of course not, Mrs. Lutensky." And she walked away. I have no idea where the choking accusation came from, but it destroyed his credibility. My brother once got in trouble for allegedly threatening to turn other kids into robots. The vice principal, who I later found out had a doctorate in psychology, although he never made anybody call him doctor, told my mom and the other kids' mom that the school would act swiftly if it saw any new robots wandering around the school grounds. But otherwise that it would defer any punishment until robots became more of a problem. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.